Hello everyone, my name is Mary and I'm once again joined by my good friend Lynn.
Hello, hello.
And welcome back to another episode of Reading Reddit Stories, the show where, I don't know if you know this, but we read Reddit stories.
I think they know by now.
I think they know by now. But, with that all being said, it's another installment. Well, actually no, today is another day of doing a specific topic. Now, last episode, or I guess the episode before last episode, we did a specific topic episode, which was all about, like, cooking disasters, if you will. So this episode is also going to be focusing on a very specific topic, and that is neighbors.
Lovely.
Bad neighbors, to be specific.
Oh, I have some stories about those, too.
So do I, and they're very recent, because they may or may not had affected us recording these episodes for a little while before I was able to make this recording space. You were there, Lynn.
I know.
Yeah, it was a fun time recording those episodes, dealing with the crickets, dealing with neighbors that like to play super loud music past 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Totally.
With that being
Sorry, my
said...
bad. Totally.
With that being said, I don't want to do that voice, that's too cringy. With that being said, we do have 4 stories here. Now, 2 of these stories come from Neighbors from Hell, which is apparently a subreddit that exists, and 2 of these
You only
stories...
just found that?
Yeah, I just barely found that.
Oh. Well, welcome to that rabbit hole.
Oh no. And also 2 of these come from r/petty revenge. So, needless to say, we're gonna have a fun time.
Oh. As long as it's not like last time.
Yep. So yeah, before we get into this episode though, I do want to give a quick thing. I made a video not this past Friday because another video came out. Well, I made a video that came out before last week's episode, and it was a video about a story that I told about, like, how playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 got me attention from a stranger, and nobody watched it. If you're interested in that, please watch it. I actually really liked that video. I liked making that video more than making these videos, in all honesty. I just wish I could make the things that I want, but instead, I'm making Reddit videos. Which isn't to say that I don't like making Reddit videos, it's just if I had the option, I really want to make fun content.
And content that's generally enjoyable. That's the whole point of being a content creator.
Yeah, that's true. But we're making Reddit stories, so let's just get to it. So, this first story comes from Neighbors from Hell, obviously, and it's concerning. So, as of recording this, it came out 2 days ago, and this post is titled, "Neighbor called the cops on us and blew fireworks at us."
Oh, lovely.
That's a crime.
Yeah, it is.
That's just a crime. That's a full-on crime.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to it. For some context, we recently bought a house in California. My family and I are from Colorado. I'm a giraffe. Sorry. Do you know that vine?
I know that vine.
Are from Colorado, and we've been living back and forth. Mostly me and my dad, as my mom and brothers don't really like going outside of Colorado. I hate that I keep saying Colorado. When we first arrived at our house, it seemed like our neighbors were in our backyard, and a lady who was the wife of our neighbor approached us. They began to make excuses on why they were in our backyard, stating that we're your neighbors and we're in your backyard because we use your pools sometimes. Me and my dad were baffled by this, but we let it slide as we didn't really want any problems on our first day. The thing that did bother me was when the lady told my dad, "Do you even speak English? Do you even understand what I'm saying to you?" as she's supposedly explaining what our pool needed. My dad is Hispanic and has a slight accent, but is capable of speaking fluent English, so this bothered me a bit. But again, I didn't say anything, and we ended the convo with her quickly to avoid further escalation.
So, just upright racism.
Yeah, that's just racism, but it gets worse.
Oh, good. Lovely.
Well, me and my dad lived there. The husband of the wife, who's an older white man, those stubborn type of older men, was surprisingly kind and he helped us with our yard and lended us tools to use so we can pressure wash, reinstalled the new grass onto our new house. He didn't really talk that much, but he was indeed very helpful, and we helped him as well. We thought we were in good terms before we left back to Colorado. Recently, my brother's birthday was coming up, and we decided to go to our house in California to celebrate his birthday. We invited all of our family that lives in California, and we hired a band. We also made sure all of our neighbors were okay with it, and each of them said that they were. And we even invited them, and out of the 5 we invited, 4 of them actually came. The only ones who didn't was the older man and his wife who didn't come. But we did ask them if it was okay that a band was going to perform in our backyard, and they said it was fine. We made sure the band followed the state noise laws and everything. The party was going great till the cops showed up, and around 8 p.m. they said that they received a call of someone complaining that we were making loud noise. The cops saw that the band wasn't playing loud and just politely asked us to lower it down just a notch for whoever complained, and we did. It became clear who called the cops, as moments later I and many others saw the older man stick his hand out of the top of the fence and started lighting fireworks directly at the people who were at our party in our backyard. Now, this pissed me off because who does something like this? And not to mention there were literal children here who could have gotten hit by the fireworks. I definitely think he lit them as a way to tell us to shut up after he saw the cops didn't shut us down. He attempted to come into our backyard and tell the band to stop playing, and attempted to speak to the owner of the house, my dad, but left the moment I walked up to him and to see what the problem was. I have no idea what to do. Our other neighbors and us get along very well, and we've even planned to hang out and go to places once we fully moved in. There is an edit here. And I'm not sure why he would even complain about the noise while I lived there with my dad. He played loud music, and I think he owned some type of painting/pressure washer business for cars. As I remember, it would be late at night around 11 to 12 a.m., and I would hear loud machinery in his backyard, yet we never complained, nor did it ever bother me or my dad.
Yeah, but these are basic racist people, so
Yeah.
you're always going to have that little bit. Sadly.
Yeah, so, I don't even, that's just, okay, like, if anything, they should call, like, I really wish, I don't know if they have security cameras, but if they did, they really should send that into the cops, because he literally just shot fireworks at people. That is a crime.
That is illegal.
That's
That is
attempted assault.
assault.
That's assault. Like,
Try and think. Like, there are other things you could also pile on top of that if you do your real research.
oh, absolutely. I mean,
It could also
like,
be a hate crime.
that's the thing about the fireworks thing. This is California, and having fireworks like that, I assumed he was lighting big ones, is actually, I think, illegal.
So I think that might, in some, I'm not going to say most places, but I know where I am that is legal. It depends on the size.
Yeah, so not only could he get arrested for assault, he could also get arrested for owning illegal fireworks if they are illegal. So, that's the thing, is that someone even commented, lighting fireworks directly into your yard was assault. Why didn't you call the police back? And then someone then replied, this is the question, OP. Why didn't you call the police for this? It was warranted. Not unwarranted, warranted. And then OP then responded, honestly, we simply didn't want any problems or to ruin my brother's birthday by getting the police involved. Even though it sounds dumb, we simply ignored it. But if he does anything like that again, I myself will call the police. Good.
Yeah, the thing is with things like the thing is, things like this these days, it's harder for people to want to go out of their way to call the cops because it becomes more of a hassle than it's worth at times.
Yeah.
But things like this, they're there for a reason, whether they do their job or not. You might as well make the call.
Yeah, at this point, it's like, I think the thing that would have sent me over the edge is the fact that he was shooting it at kids.
Yeah.
So,
Like, don't get me wrong. If you left me a football stadium with a child, I'd be tempted to punt it across the field. But, like, it's a party.
yeah, but
You're supposed to protect them.
but yeah, like, this is the real world. If a guy's shooting fireworks at kids, I'm calling the cops on him. He's going to jail.
Yeah, there's no excuse when it comes down to children, whether they're yours or not.
Yeah, no,
They're young. They don't have any sense of right or wrong and what's going on around them. Even if they're the fucking Sephora kids, you still have to be there to protect them to an extent. Be a good role model, basically.
yeah, fucking hell. Well, so first of all, I even completely forgot. Yeah, apparently they were just like going into their swimming pool whenever they wanted, even though it wasn't theirs. It was the OP's well, I guess the OP's parents' swimming pool, which is also kind of weird. Which I know that's a thing that happens. People will sneak into like people's swimming pools to swim in it, which
that's a common story you'll hear around that subreddit.
yeah. It's really just like people are keep hopping in. Like, yeah, it's such like a stereotypical thing too, especially with like college students or even just high school kids. They'll just like jump into like neighbors' pools because they think it's funny, and then it's like, well, you're still trespassing, dude. So like, get out.
Or it's a case of we don't have a pool and we want to go swimming, but we don't want to pay for a rec center or something, or we don't have the money to. In that case, then It sounds cruel, but befriend the neighbor and see if they'll let you swim rather than trespass, because
Yeah.
it's honestly safer that way.
Yeah, because if depending on where you live, the neighbor will probably just end up shooting you.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, there are places where that's allowed, which I don't like that, but that's how it is. Um,
to an extent.
yes. So yeah, overall, not great. Like to me, like I completely forgot about the pool thing because of the fact that this guy shot fireworks at people. Like that's assault. Like that's he should be like in like prison for that. Like that's jail time, buddy. But I can't. I don't know. But OP apparently says if he does it again, he will call the cops. But in all honesty, you should probably call the cops now. I don't think it's too late to do so.
Yeah, because these types of things, while it's important to get them on paper quick, because there is usually a time range when you can't use that thing. Because if it happens once and you complain about like a year later, no one's going to listen to you.
Yeah. But like obviously it seems like this only happened a few days ago, so it's like you need to just report it.
Yeah, put it on paper at
Put
least.
it on paper. You got to do something about that. That's fucked. But I guess that's pretty much for that story. So let's move on to the next one. So this next one comes from r/petty revenge, and it's petty, but it's funny. This story is actually kind of satisfying. It's very satisfyingly petty thing. So yeah, let's get to it.
That's good. I like the sounds of that.
Yeah. So the title of this post is called "You want to try to take 9 feet of our property? We will take 20 feet of yours."
Ooh.
We have lived in our house for about 8 years in a rural neighborhood in Arizona. Arizona, dude, it's probably so hot over there right now. Oh my fucking god. It's so hot where I'm at right now. But goddamn, I bet you Arizona's boiling. Anyways,
God.
about a year ago, this dude from California bought the lot next to us and threw a fit about the stuff we had on the property line. We had put a single fence pole vaguely where the property line was. We hadn't made any sort of land survey done. It was supposed to be just a temporary marker that became a permanent marker. Dude was absolutely livid that we had vehicles parked on his property. The very tip of one of our cars was touching the established boundary. Oh, fuck off. He threatened to have our vehicle towed, so we simply had an actual land survey done, and it turns out the property line was a good 20 feet into his property. Homeboy should have just let the sleeping dogs lie and not been an asshole about the few inches. So there is an edit here. Edit. I had some journalists reach out to me and ask for some more comments, so here's an update for those who asked. Feel free to ask more questions for more clarifications or ask again if I missed yours. Hello, thank you for reaching out. So the first thing that was said was for number one is that, for reference, it's a small rural neighborhood in the mountains of Arizona. All the houses are 3 to 5 acres, horse properties, and the roads are all dirt and unmaintained. It used to be a very understandable place to live, but in the last few years it has developed and property values have been going up, quadrupling since we moved here in 2016. This has attracted a crowd of people who care what yards look like, who simply weren't here when this place was cheap. The neighbor is one of these new people. We moved here specifically because the neighborhood had a bunch of messy yards already, and we wanted to also have lenient neighbors. We lived in harmony with our neighbors' junkyards for years. Number two. The neighbor introduced himself by calling the county on a bunch of us anonymously. We knew he called on us because he was bragging about calling the county on several other of the neighbors for their messy yard, so whether he intentionally included us in the report or not, he brought the inspectors to our neighborhood. He came onto our property by at least 40 feet before there was a fence to closely examine our piles of scrap metal. We caught this on camera and confronted him in text. It turns out he was very angry that he had purchased land next to a pseudo scrap yard. We had several cars in various stages of disassembly and piles of materials. Keep in mind, this is the country. This is normal out here. We're on 5-acre lots. Another detail that I missed in my original post is he isn't even living on this lot. He bought a lot with a very small cabin 3 houses down along with the lot next to us with the intention of turning it into an income property. Oh, fuck you. There's no point. Why are you complaining then? After we confronted him in text,
Yeah.
After we confronted him in text, he confronted us in person in our front yard, leaning against our no trespassing sign and screaming obscenities at us. 3. We haven't seen...
So not only are you giving them the verbal middle finger, but you're also giving them the standby middle finger of the whole sign thing.
Yeah, not great. Number 3, we haven't seen him since we saw him on our security camera observing the survey markers. Dismayed, it's entirely possible that we entirely chased him out of the neighborhood. The people on the other side of his lot who have an equally trashed yard from their small-scale pig farming operation that he should have known existed before buying the land had such a bad experience with him that she had a restraining order on him. They are also having a potentially equally funny dispute about a shed that she built fully on his lot for over 15 years ago, which means they're going to have to go to court over who owns it, and our adverse possession laws are certainly on her side. Currently, we are building an ugly fence on the newly surveyed property line. Talk shit, get hit, bitch. Lost. He was over here like trying to take nine feet of their property, but then it was like, actually, our property is 20 feet into yours, man.
Yeah, my grandfather had a property dispute with the neighbors at one point, too.
How did that go?
Seeing that they're the same people that owned the dogs that bit him, it didn't go well.
Oh, well then.
It was like, it wasn't even like 5 feet, it was like a couple inches.
Oh. But, honestly, that's really fun. That's so satisfying to me. And the thing how they said that, like, they caught him on the security camera looking at the property line dismayed, I like to think that he went outside to look at the property line and be like, God damn it, and then leaving.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, I should have kept my goddamn mouth shut.
You should have kept your mouth shut, buddy. If he had kept his mouth shut, he would have had more acres, but now, well...
I don't think he would have had more acres. People wouldn't have hated him enough to want to kick him out.
Yeah. But you know what? Talk shit, gay.
Yeah.
That's why you keep your mouth shut, kids. Because then it's kind of like this story that like a teacher told me where that she had like as a kid where like she once complained to her mom that her sister got more food than her, so she put less food on her plate. Just like that to me, it's not right because it's a mom and her daughter. But here I like it because it's like, he was over here complaining that like, hey, your property's 9 feet into mine. But then it's like, actually, we own this and 11 more feet of your property, bitch.
Psych.
Boom. Uno reverse card. That's fun. But also the fact that he's over here complaining about all of this and it's like, dude, you saw the property before. Why are you complaining about this now? You knew that it looked like this. You knew that it was essentially a bunch of scrapyards and pig farms.
Like, this is why before you buy or rent a property, you always go see it in person, because you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the next story. So, where's this? Oh, yeah. So this next story is kind of creepy.
Oh, yay. What's it from?
It comes once again from r/neighbors from hell. So,
yay.
Yeah, let's get to it. Hi, this is my first time posting and I'm looking for advice on what to do with my neighbor. Not sure if it's a matter to call the police on, and I don't really want to get into any drama. I just want to live in peace. Any advice would help. For background, I live in Colorado. It's always Colorado with this shit.
I've seen a theme with these stories.
Yeah, the real theme all along was Colorado.
Okay, now I know where not to go.
Yeah, no, I'm never going there. A couple years ago, my roommates and I moved into an apartment neighborhood. Our apartment is upstairs, and our across-the-street neighbor is a woman that looks in her 50s. She's the kind of neighbor you know is involved in substance abuse and is in trouble. About 2 years ago, she started wanting to chat with us, and she started asking a lot about our names, and she became way too familiar with who we were, which cars we owned, she knew when we came home, and who our partners were. She started stalking us, basically. Fast forward to last year, she would approach us and say these made-up stories about how she knew us since we were little girls and where we used to live. She'd make comments about how she knew my parents, and she started asking if my dad was available because she wanted to say sorry to him about who she was and when she was with him. We would let her know that she was mistaken and we weren't those people who she thought we were, but she would just say, "It's okay to lie. It's okay to lie. You don't have to do it, but it's okay." Okay, it's gotten to a point where she will come knocking at our door even 5 times a day. We don't open the door and hope she'll get tired and stop coming, but she keeps on coming back. She sometimes hides behind our stairway at night to corner us.
That's more than weird.
We just don't feel comfortable anymore, and she hasn't been aggressive, so that's why I don't think the police will do anything.
Not necessarily if you can get receipts on all these little instances.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it, she's getting uncomfortably close.
Uh. Other than avoiding her, ignoring her knocking, and telling her straight up she is mistaken, my dad has come by to tell her she's got the wrong person. It's like she also has a faulty memory because she will continue to ask for him and even yell from the street to our window the name of the person she thinks is my dad. What brought me to seek help here is that in the past month she has made several attempts to open our front door. I work from home, so I have seen her try, but we don't have cameras to have it on record, and I'm working on getting cameras right now. I guess my end question is, what do I do when does it become an issue to call the police? Call the police!
First off, yes, call police. If they want evidence, then here's something you can do. Go on Amazon. You can get those metal sticks and metal bars for your windows, because if the door's not going to work, she's going to try the next best thing. Second option, you can get a knockoff ring, because it's still a camera. It's still a motion sensor camera you can put somewhere.
Yeah.
At this point, you have the means and the reason to do so.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, it's your protection.
It got really creepy at the end. Like it just it was already like it wasn't too bad. No, it was already really bad because already she was like knowing what times they came home and things like that. And then she started being like, I've known you guys since you were little girls. And then she started just getting weirder and weirder until now it's like, okay, now she's trying to actively break into our apartment essentially.
But yeah, this just feels like something out of some sort of, this feels like a horror video game script.
It really does. Like the idea of her being like, I used to know you, and now like she's like stalking them, like and cornering them and everything. Like, no, yeah, it's time to call the police. Like it's getting like dangerous.
Yeah.
This isn't just like a weird lady anymore. This is someone who it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if she tried to like come into your place with like a weapon or something at this point, honestly. It's getting scary.
Yeah.
It's going into a point of stalking and now actively trying to enter your home. So I would say yes, get those metal bars, get the ring camera, do everything you can to get evidence that like this lady is unhinged and is now now your life is possibly in danger.
At this point, I would have that paranoia.
Yes.
It's only natural with what's happening with them.
Yes. It's honestly really creepy. Like
Yeah, it is.
that's the thing is that like I know we always quote Shane Top or whatever, which I hate that I keep doing that, but I think one of my favorite quotes from him is that he's like, I like because when he talks about ghosts and how he's like he's like skeptical with them, he has said that like I'm not really afraid of ghosts because I've not really heard any stories of people getting attacked by ghosts, but I've heard of many stories of people attacking people.
Yeah.
It's like to me
Which
this
is
is more
valid.
scary by any means.
Yeah, it is more scary because your life is actively on the line.
Yes. It's really like I would say call the cops and like or get a camera or anything. Like but at the same time it's like a part of me is also like because someone has also wrote in the comments like for like a well-being check and it's like or yeah, like a well-being check. And honestly, I feel like they should call something for her as well cuz like something's off with her.
At that point, the only thing you can do is hope that she does something like this again, but you have the means to get proof of what she's doing.
Yes, you're going to unfortunately need proof because
Because
yeah.
these days you can't really just do a wellness check on someone,
Mhm.
especially if they're expecting it,
Yeah.
which is sad, but that's the thing.
Yeah. But what do you think is wrong with this lady anyways? Cuz they even said like you could tell that she was like had like substance abuse and there was something going on with her.
The thing is, substance abuse can do this to people. It can really fuck with people.
That's true.
And if she's showing blatantly, if she's showing blatantly obvious symptoms and signs,
Mhm.
then there's a chance that she's been abusing it for years.
Yeah.
And at that point, she's already mentally unwell
Mhm.
if she's not using it safely or if it's not just a medical thing.
Yeah. It's like Yeah, like get those Ring cameras, and pretty much that's what a lot of these stories boil down to. Is like get yourself some cameras because shit like this is really bad. To where it's like call the cops. Like,
Yeah, it's not. There's a good amount of paranoia and there's a bad amount of paranoia. Getting cameras and sticks for your windows and doors, that's not bad paranoia. That's just safety.
yeah,
Especially if you live alone in an apartment complex or a rental.
Eh,
And even in a basic home.
or if there's a fucking creepy lady who's like trying to fucking get into your house.
Mm-hmm.
I stuff like this is like because that's the thing is that when it comes to like living on my own, I'm always been afraid of the idea of like, well, I guess number one, like when searching for an apartment, it's like I'm terrified of like getting an apartment complex where someone has bed bugs.
Yeah.
That's horrifying. But I guess another thing is just like getting neighbors like this that are like borderline
Creeps.
insane. That's
Absolute creeps
yeah.
that can't keep themselves.
Yeah, like that is also rather scary as well to me. So, like it's those type this is the type of shit that like people fear like most, if you will, as far as like when it comes to like the normal everyday life in this physical world.
Especially living alone.
Yes. And it's
Because
like
it's
yeah.
I will say it's one thing to live alone with an animal.
Mhm.
Because at that point, if you've trained the animal well, they're going to alert you.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is they'll know something's wrong before you do.
Yeah. I will
So
say
that's
though, huh?
so that interrupting you. That's the comfort of being able to live with something else that's also living, breathing.
Yeah. Which ties into what I was going to say as far as like if this would be so much worse if it was just her by herself, but it's like I'm happy that they have a roommate with them. Because if it was
Yeah.
just her by herself, I'd be way more afraid. But it's like there's two of them and one of her, so it's like the odds are a little bit
It's
more.
good to an
Yeah,
extent.
yeah. It's nice to know that there's someone else with you on this, and you're not completely alone in the dark. But at the same time, it's like you both need to still do something about this. So
Yeah.
yeah, oof, God. All right.
Metal sticks and a camera.
Yep.
It's the best I can say.
Yeah. And if all else fails, you can build that one like popcorn kernel gun that Spencer from iCarly used. I don't know if you've ever seen that clip. I'll show you later.
Get a t-shirt can and just put a bunch of hard-boiled eggs in it.
That would hurt really bad. Oh God,
Because I heard that from Stephanie Plum. I can't say the actual author's name, but Stephanie Plum novel.
mm, well,
God, that was a good book.
I'll keep that in mind then. But I'm pretty sure if you did that, a person would actually like you would actually
Oh
break someone's
yeah, no,
ribs.
that's worthy of calling the cops on. Sadly,
Yeah.
but it's a funny idea. It's a funny idea.
Yes.
And to be fair, you brought up the popcorn cannon
Well, it's
or
popcorn
gun.
kernels getting shot really fast. That probably hurts really bad
Okay,
too.
that's on the same level of a BB gun. Come on
I
now.
mean, yes, but like one's
Oh,
gonna be
so
owie and the other one's gonna actively break your ribs.
okay. So what's the difference?
Well, one's gonna be owie and one of them's gonna break your rib.
Okay.
A BB gun can't break your ribs. Maybe it can. I don't
At
know.
least you'll get good protein from the hard-boiled egg.
You're not eating it. It's just
Unless you
breaking your
shoot someone in
ribs.
the mouth.
It's gonna be like the X-ray like shit in Mortal Kombat if you've ever seen that. It's just like, ugh. But with egg.
I still don't see anything wrong with it. But again,
Like if it was normal eggs, I'd be like, okay, fine, sure, fuck it. But
oh no,
boiled
it'd
eggs.
still be bad if it was normal eggs because they still have the cell.
I mean, yeah, but the difference is that they crack, so the energy kind of gets dispersed more.
Have
It's the
you
same with
ever been hit with an egg?
no, but like the thing is that it's like kind of like a paintball, where like if a paintball doesn't crack on you and it just hits you, it hurts more than it actually cracking and hitting you. You know, you would rather want an egg to crack, like to hit you and crack on you, than to just
Okay,
be hard
if
boiled.
we ever meet up, I'm gonna hit you with an egg, and then I want to hear your response.
Okay, I'll film it. You're gonna hold that end of the bargain. If you don't do that, I'm gonna film it. If you don't do it,
You know that means. Oh, God damn it! Now I actually have to commit violence.
you have to do it. You're gonna have to do it. When we meet, I'm gonna film it, and I'm gonna be like, all right, everybody, Lynn's gonna throw an egg at me.
Well, the thing is, you can't do the paintball gun thing with me because what I have makes my skin fucking extra sensitive, so we won't be able to tell if it does more.
Oh no, I wouldn't want to shoot you, but you can throw an egg at me. That's fine. You gotta understand, Lynn. Okay, so for those who don't know, well, of course you guys don't know this because you don't know me. So when I was in high school, me and my high school friends I always told my high school friends like, hey guys, I really want to, can you guys throw me into thumbtacks one day? And they would always be like,
Oh,
no.
jeez.
So, because I really like wrestling, and I was like, I want to be thrown into thumbtacks, because that sounds like I know it will hurt like a bitch, but it's like, it's a once in a lifetime experience, if you will. And so one time, this was after like a bad night or something, like at like this one place or whatever, and we were just hanging out afterwards because I was trying to cool off, and we went to Walmart to buy some stuff, and I was like, hey guys, look, thumbtacks. Maybe if we get enough of these, they immediately both at the same time went, no. I was so committed. If they had said yes, I would have been thrown into thumbtacks.
Christ.
I mean, listen, they've tased me before.
You are almost as bad as Markiplier. You do realize this, right?
Okay, but the difference is with Mark.
Yes, there is a big difference here, but you.
The thing is, with Mark, for me, like, I feel like he would do this stuff. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like Mark, there is like he has some type of enjoyment out of this.
Yeah.
He does get some type of weird enjoyment out of it. Like for me, I know that, here's the thing, I know getting thrown into thumbtacks is going to hurt like a bitch. I think it's going to hurt really, really bad. But like, if I'm a wrestler, I'm going to do it for the theatrics. I'm going to do it. I'll commit to the bit. For him, Markiplier would just like turn on the camera one day and say, hey guys, I'm going to throw myself into thumbtacks. Crack! Ah! You know?
Yeah. Yeah, fair point. He probably does use the camera as an excuse to do those weird reviews.
I have a feeling he'd probably, even if he wasn't a YouTuber, he'd probably still do that stuff. With me though, like, I want to be thrown into thumbtacks, but I'm gonna film it. Like, I wouldn't do it. Like, here's the thing: I would not, like, if you told me you get to go thrown into thumbtacks, but we're not gonna film it. I'm not gonna do it. Then what's the point? I want it to be on camera so it looks like, because I want it to see how cool it looks. I don't give a fuck if like I do it by myself, because then it's boring. Like, it's not as cool if I'm not filming it. But him, I bet you he does crazy shit even if the cameras aren't on.
I don't even know what to say anymore. You are the reason why I keep a small first aid kit in my bag.
No, I'm not.
Okay, fair enough. I'm the reason I keep a small. My mother and I are the reason I keep a small first aid kit in my bag.
Yes.
Now you're another reason.
Here's the thing about me. This is something you should know that's kind of concerning. You know, like when someone gets a cut and they put alcohol on it to sterilize it, it hurts really bad to them?
You're not supposed to do that.
But you know how like people do that and it stings?
Okay.
When I do that, it doesn't sting for me. I think, oh, this is nice and cool. I like this.
Well, yeah, it depends on the type of alcohol you use. If you use the stuff like the hydrogen peroxide, you're not supposed to use that stuff because it actually moves everything. It pushes everything down.
It's weird. I've never felt that like with alcohol. Any type of like alcohol or hydrogen peroxide, it doesn't really sting for me.
Do you put it on open wounds or just like?
Yeah, I put it on open wounds before.
Yeah, you probably have a higher pain tolerance. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. Like I don't think I do, but like when it comes to that, it doesn't really affect me. I don't know. Like for me, like paper cuts, like ugh.
This Reddit story has become really interesting.
Yeah, we went from a scary lady to I want to be thrown into thumbtacks on camera. I do.
To me having a little crisis over here.
That's the thing, though, is that like if I was a wrestler, the only thing I would say is do not throw me into glass. I don't want to be thrown into glass. Glass scares me. Because with thumbtacks, it's like if I get thrown into thumbtacks, you can still see them all and pick them all out of your back, you know, like.
Yeah, with glass, you gotta be fucking careful.
Yeah, no, with glass, it's like they're not going to get every piece. That scares me. because you're not gonna be able to see it. I don't like that. That's scary.
God, I just realized I need to get more of those little tiny sanitary wipes for my first aid kit.
Yeah, you should probably do that, especially when I come over.
God damn it.
Listen, we don't know what's gonna happen.
God.
Like, I'm more concerned about because here's the thing: if the kitchen blows up because of something you're cooking, I'm gonna be the first one to take the explosion.
Oh, God. There's this ongoing joke between him and I with him coming over and me making, like, I don't know, grilled Caesar hot dogs.
Oh God.
Let's go in the kitchen. No, wait!
Brian, don't!
Immediately, as soon as I step foot in the kitchen,
It's gonna be like the that one Indiana Jones movie where I have to hide in the refrigerator to avoid the explosion.
how would you get to the refrigerator, though?
I don't know.
Like, we're assuming you're already in the kitchen by the time this happens.
It's like a nuclear
At
bomb,
that
though.
point,
I
it'd be
gotta.
more easier. At that point, it'd be more easier just to pull a linebacker and tackle me out of the kitchen.
I guess that's true. Anyways, let's move on to the final story.
Yeah, let's get back to the point of this video. That'd be nice.
All right. So this last story comes from r/petty revenge, and this one made me very angry, but it's okay because it ends good. It's not like super angry, but it made me angry. So the title of this is called Wrapping Up a Party Night.
Okay.
Around 14 years ago when I was a student, I used to live in a youth apartment house where the municipality leased small, cheap apartments to people below the age of 25. My floor had a common kitchen that was pretty large as well as a small common balcony for everyone to share. During this time in my life, I made an effort to be more extroverted and social in order to break the patterns of shyness. One night, I came home from a party at the university and discovered the neighbors were having a party on my floor. It was in the common area, buzzing with a lot of people. Great, how fun, I thought, and decided to join. I had had a fantastic night so far and just wanted to extend it a bit. I didn't know anyone there, so I tried to talk to some new people. After asking some regular questions, the first guy I talked to turned away from me and ignored me. I tried to strike up a conversation with another couple of guys, but they immediately stood up and sat down at another table. Now my social skills were unpolished and I might not have been a smooth talker, but maybe I was a bit awkward, but I was polite and outgoing. Nevertheless, an increasing amount of people there froze me out without hesitation. I had never encountered anything like that since middle school, and almost couldn't believe it. After a short while, I realized I was not welcome to the party on my floor. I walked back the 10 meters back to my apartment, which was right next to the epicenter of the party, and was about to go to bed, but they were being a bit noisy outside my door. So I called a service called Nuisance Hotline and waited. Suddenly, chaos unfolds outside as the Nuisance Hotline guys crashes their party and threatens consequences for the neighbors unless they stop it. Everyone starts running around and yelling, trying to get everybody else to stop running around and yelling until the party eventually dies. Meanwhile, I sat in the darkness at my door, listening to everything in delight.
I see.
Fucking have a party on his floor and then just, ignore him? Yeah, fuck you.
Here's the I think it is that was a little petty, but at the same time, what the hell?
Yeah, what was with these people?
Were they just allergic to him or something?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
People like those are the reason why most introverts don't bother going out.
This is my worst nightmare, just being in a crowd of people and trying to interact.
This is an introverted person's worst nightmare, just actually trying, building up the courage to go outside and be like, gonna do this? Good time? I'm going to socialize. Your battery's already slowly getting ready to explode by the amount of confidence you have. You go outside and it's like, who the fuck are you? No, I don't want to talk to you. What the fuck's your problem? Coming up to me, talking to me like you know me? You don't know me. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, okay.
I've had that type of scenario before, actually, because I'm an introverted person and very shy. And so I remember in high school, the first time I was like, I'm going to ask this one girl out for once in my life. I'm going to do that. And as soon as I built up the courage to go and do it, she immediately went, the answer is no, before I could even ask her the question.
Oh my fucking God. I'm sorry, but people like that, just with the fucking confidence and how cocky they are, it's, if anything, that's just a red flag that you're lucky to get right off the bat.
I was like, damn, okay.
At the same time, that does work for creepy people, but these days it's harder to figure out who's a creep and who's not.
At the same time, though, looking back on who I was in high school, like, I would have said no, too. I would have said
Eh,
no, too. Uh,
I'm not that subject.
yeah, no, I didn't like me in high school. Or I don't like me in high school. Me in high school didn't like himself either, but, you know. But with that being said, like, yes, this is petty, but also, like, good for him. Honestly, I remember when we first did the Petty Revenge episode, I said something along the lines of, or it was the second episode, I don't remember, but I said something along the lines of, like, I wish I had the courage to do something like this. And this is one of those scenarios where I'm like, I wish I had the courage to do something like this if this happened to me, but I feel like I wouldn't do it. I just think about it.
Yeah.
But it ended up working out. So, yeah. But, yeah, those guys are. What the fuck was wrong with these people? Like, he lived on this floor, and they all just all acted like he was like, who the fuck are you, dude? What are you even fucking doing here, man? You're so old. Go back to your wife. Don't you have a family? That's
Saying that to those guys.
That's a Smiling Friends reference.
Oh.
I'll show you the clip later.
Oh.
But, yeah, I don't know. God. So, honestly, that wasn't the worst story to wrap up on. Honestly, it would have been worse to wrap up on that lady one.
Yeah.
Because that would have just been like, oh. Which, goddamn. That's the worst one, honestly. Because the other ones were kind of like, well, then again, which is worse? A creepy lady trying to get into your apartment or a guy shooting fireworks at people at a party?
Both of them are pretty bad, but they're sadly common these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of that story. Overall, I think this was a pretty decent episode. Definitely not as crazy as some of the other ones, but still pretty crazy because, you know, crazy. But it's not, we haven't got, that's the one thing about the bamboo story is that I'm waiting for another bamboo story, man. That one.
God, we need another bamboo story.
A story that's crazy, but like you're so in awe of how crazy it is, you can't help but laugh, you know?
Like, this is one of those situations where you should probably ask the commenters for more bamboo stories.
Yeah, like if there's any more stories like that where it's like shit is like crazy, but it's not like my neighbor tried to break into my fucking apartment and like I'm scared for my life, but it's more like this guy has his light on, and so I made an entire wall of bamboo, and now it's overgrowing his yard and destroying his property.
Yeah, no, we need more bamboo stories, invasive goldfish stories.
Yes, stuff like that.
Just funny.
Yes.
Things that are petty but funny as hell.
Yeah, if you have any of those stories, honestly, just DM me on Instagram or at me on Twitter, please, because I would love to hear those stories for any of those who are watching. But, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Do you have anything else to say, Lynn?
No, not really. Just stay safe. Order those metal bars and sticks off Amazon for your doors and windows. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone who watched this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. And maybe we'll see you again sometime soon. And remember, stay safe and sane.